When describing the Battle of Iwo Jima, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz recalled, quote, "Uncommon valor was a common virtue." During the costly battle, Corporal Tony Stein from the 5th Marine Division gave a face to that idea. The seasoned warrior landed with the first wave and raced through the black sand amidst the roar of gunfire and exploding shells to secure the beachhead. He wielded a personally improvised aircraft-type machine gun, a blend between a Browning machine gun, a BAR bipod, and an M1 Garand buttstock known as the Stinger. With it, Stein provided rapid covering fire as his platoon attempted to move into position. The corporal, fueled by adrenaline and determination, launched a daring assault on the enemy pillboxes. With each charge, he unleashed the devastating power of his Stinger, systematically dismantling the Japanese defenses. Amidst a maelstrom of explosions and gunfire, he became a force of nature, laying down relentless suppressing fire that held the enemy at bay. As his ammunition dwindled, Stein refused to be deterred. Displaying remarkable bravery, he dashed back and forth across the beach under heavy fire, not just to resupply, but also to rescue wounded comrades, carrying them to safety with a strength born of sheer will. To increase his agility, he shed his shoes and helmet. There was fighting to be done, and he was not going to miss it. Anthony Michael Stein was born in Dayton, Ohio on September 30th, 1921, the son of Austrian Jewish immigrants. As a young man, he attended Kaiser High School and dropped out during his freshman year. Although his family faced tough times, Stein found numerous ways to earn money for his parents. He learned toolmaking in a machine shop located in Dayton's Patterson Field. Afterward, he worked at a lumber camp and various construction jobs in FDR's Civilian Conservation Corps. Following his service there, he returned to Dayton and became an apprentice tool and die maker at the Delco Products plant. In 1940, Stein rescued a drowning boy in Mad River. He then joined a boxing league and won the Dayton Golden Glove Championship in February 1942, fighting in 126 pounds and standing at 5'6". Tony was physically imposing, willing to take risks, and always helpful to others. His bold nature led the eager patriot to serve his country when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. On September 22, 1942, Stein enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. Joining the Marines is a formidable task, demanding physical prowess and mental resilience. But venturing into the elite ranks of the Paramarines, the Marine Corps' paratrooper division, was a whole other level of challenge. This unit, formed to merge the daring of airborne operations with the Marines' amphibious warfare experience, was a test of the very best. After completing the rigorous demands of boot camp, Tony, driven by an insatiable thirst for challenge, set his sights on the Marine Corps Shock Troops Regiment, aiming to earn his wings as a paratrooper. In October 1940, the 1st Marine Parachute Regiment was established to explore the integration of paratroopers into the Corps' amphibious strategy. Tony found himself in New Jersey, undergoing specialized training designed for the elite, pushing him to the limits of his endurance and skill. His relentless pursuit of excellence made him a perfect fit for this pioneering unit, where he could channel his boundless energy into mastering the art of the airborne warrior. Upon mastering the demanding paratrooper training, Marines were rewarded with a significant pay raise, sparking a wave of enthusiasm among potential recruits. Yet, the criteria was stringent. Applicants had to be single, and the physical requirements far exceeded those of the average Marine. This high bar meant that only the most exceptional candidates could endure the rigorous selection process, with more than 40% of hopefuls falling short of the demanding standards. Tony stood among the elite few who triumphed. The influx of eager volunteers was so substantial that it led to the program's expansion, creating 2 more battalions. Recognizing the need for more specialized training facilities, the 3rd class commenced its rigorous preparation at Camp Kearney in San Diego, California, marking a significant milestone in the evolution of Marine paratroopers. The Marine Parachute Battalion was structured with 3 rifle companies and a headquarters company, which included the headquarters elements and a demolition platoon. Each rifle company was comprised of 3 platoons, with each platoon equipped with rifles, light machine guns, and a single 60mm mortar. After successfully earning his paratrooper wings, Stein found his place in the headquarters company of the 3rd Parachute Battalion, within the elite 1st Parachute Regiment of the 3rd Marine Division. Meanwhile, his comrades in the 1st Parachute Battalion were already engaged in fierce combat, alongside fellow Marines in the critical battles of Guadalcanal and Gavutu. Stein's opportunity to prove his mettle came with the strategic planning of Operation Cartwheel, a bold initiative aimed at the invasion of Rabaul and surrounding islands near New Guinea. The 1st Marine Parachute Regiment, now a formidable force of approximately 3,000 strong, was created through the unification of the 3 parachute battalions under the 1st Marine Amphibious Corps. This consolidation marked a significant chapter in the Corps' airborne operations, positioning the regiment as a key player in the Pacific Theater's intricate chessboard of warfare. Stein, now part of this larger, more cohesive unit, was poised on the brink of action, ready to take part in one of the war's pivotal operations. 4 ambitious parachute operations were meticulously planned, with Tony Stein's 3rd Parachute Battalion slated for a high-stakes airdrop over Bougainville. Their mission was clear: seize control of the strategically vital Kara and Kahili airfields. However, the complexities of war intervened, and these carefully laid plans for airborne assaults were ultimately shelved. Instead, the Paramarines found themselves redeployed as infantry, joining forces on the ground alongside their fellow Marines. The necessity and expertise of having a parachute corps in the Marines and other specialized elite units like the Marine Raiders was quickly questioned. The Marines lacked transport aircraft for large-scale parachute deployment, leading Marine Commander Thomas Holcomb to disband the 1st Marine Parachute Regiment on December 30th, 1943. As a result, along with the Marine Raider units, the Paramarines officially ceased to exist on February 29th, 1944. During the Battle of Bougainville, Stein became known as the Sniper Exterminator. Throughout the campaign, the elite Paramarine took out 5 Japanese snipers, hiding in the canopy above the trees and the island's vegetation, before they could decimate the lines of his unit with their scoped Arasaka bolt-action rifles. Being a sniper or an expert marksman was no easy task. Only men like Stein could pull it off. Targeting enemies at long range, especially concealed Japanese snipers, required patience, body control, and more importantly, excellent rifle knowledge, be it a Springfield bolt-action rifle or an M1 Garand employing a scope. In the aftermath of the Battle of Bougainville and the disbandment of Stein's Paramarines unit, the young Leatherneck returned to the U.S. for some leave. Stein's friends were astonished by his physical transformation when he finally rejoined his unit for the imminent invasion of the volcanic island of Iwo Jima. In 1942, Stein had left his home front weighing 132 pounds. Upon his return 20 months later, Tony Stein stood 5'8" and weighed over 190 pounds. The seasoned Marine was all muscle, ready to tackle new and more complex challenges in his fight against the Japanese Empire. Tony married Joan Stominger, one of his earlier co-workers from Patterson Field. Following a short honeymoon, the Paramarine returned to Camp Pendleton, California, to join the 5th Marine Corps Division. Leveraging his recent combat experience, Stein was recognized for his valor and leadership on the battlefield. As a result, he was promoted to the rank of corporal and entrusted with command of a squad. While preparing the men for the difficult task ahead, Stein and other Marines devised a unique improvised weapon that would serve the Corps well at Iwo Jima. Alongside Sergeant Mel J. Grevich, Stein used his abilities as a toolmaker to adapt a Douglas SPD Dauntless dive bomber's .30 caliber NM2 aircraft machine gun for personal use. The ANM2 was lighter than the M1919 Browning machine gun and was better suited for ground combat, as it also featured a higher firing rate of around 1,200 to 1,500 rounds a minute, compared to the M1919's 400 to 600. To make it more suitable for ground combat, Stein and Grevich took the stock and sights from an M1 Garand and the bipod from a BAR machine gun and fitted them to the ANM2. This resulted in a fierce-looking weapon that was perfect for ground combat. 6 of these guns were built and used in the attack on Iwo Jima, including the one assigned to Corporal Stein. The Paramarine aptly named his weapon the Stinger. As soon as Stein's unit hit the beach on February 19, 1945, he was the first Marine to hit the blackened sand of Iwo Jima with his lethal Stinger. Rounds flew above and around him, and Stein immediately provided cover fire with his Stinger, while the remainder of his platoon attempted to move into position. When his Marines were stalled by a concentrated machine gun and mortar barrage, Stein fearlessly stood upright and exposed himself to the enemy's view, drawing hostile fire to his person. Stein was miraculously untouched by Japanese fire, providing him with valuable seconds to pinpoint the location of their firing positions and proceed to neutralize them. Committed to destroying the strategically placed enemy weapons, Stein relentlessly charged the enemy pillboxes one by one, opening fire with the Stinger. The powerful machine gun got rid of over 20 enemy personnel during the furious single-handed assault. The paramarine delivered accurate fire, while his men approached the area to eliminate the surviving enemies. In the chaos of battle, under a relentless onslaught of shells and bullets, Tony Stein stood calm. Armed with his ingeniously modified weapon, the Stinger, he unleashed a barrage of fire with astonishing speed. When ammunition ran low, Stein shed his helmet and shoes, not merely to lighten his load, but to enhance his agility, allowing him to dash back to the beach for supplies, not once, but 8 times, all under heavy enemy fire. Each run was not just a quest for ammunition, it was a rescue mission, as he either carried or aided a wounded comrade with every return. He took command of a situation with his squad, guiding the fire of a half-track to obliterate an enemy pillbox that stood in their way. His weapon, the Stinger, became a symbol of resistance, twice knocked from his grasp by enemy fire, yet his resolve never wavered. As the day wore on and the situation grew dire, Stein did not falter. He personally ensured the safe retreat of his platoon, covering them against the enemy's advance. Corporal Stein's extraordinary contributions were instrumental in the success of his team's mission, showcasing his remarkable courage, sound judgment, and unwavering commitment to his duty and comrades. Less than 2 weeks after Corporal Stein earned the nation's highest award for valor, he lost his life in combat during a mission in which he and a group of fellow Marines volunteered to locate enemy machine gun emplacements. These emplacements were holding up the advance of the entire company, and neutralizing them to continue military operations in the area was of the utmost importance. On February 19, 1946, Corporal Tony Stein's Medal of Honor was posthumously presented to his widow in a ceremony hosted by Ohio Governor Frank Lausch. After the war, Stein's remains were repatriated and laid to rest in Dayton, his hometown. Honored as Dayton's only World War II Medal of Honor recipient, Stein received full military honors during his burial at Cavalry Cemetery on December 17, 1948, following services at Our Lady of the Rosary Church. His actions embodied the fighting spirit of the Marines and their legendary Latin motto, Semper Fidelis, always faithful till the end.